Hello, welcome, welcome. It is Tuesday. Linda Catan here. I'm so glad to have you here, whether you're looking at me in the group or you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube, wherever that is. Welcome, welcome. I'm just coming today to talk about a very deep wound that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is the wound of I'm not worthy. We have all these wounds that we pick up during childhood, but there's about 6 core wounds that I mentioned in my training and that I help people work through, and that I have touched upon in my ebook that will be coming out very soon, actually, yay, where I talk about these wounds and how they show up. And the I'm not worthy is the most common wound, and that comes from in the research that I'm going to be bringing to you, and what I have studied is that it comes from the mother. The mother is the primary nurturing adult in our life from birth and growing up. Now, I'm an adopted child, so I wasn't breastfed. So I didn't have that closeness, that close-knit relationship with the mom. And frankly, back in the 60s, breastfeeding wasn't even happening at that point. But this closeness, and I can tell you in nurturing and breastfeeding my own children, was a very, very strong bond. It was just the most beautiful thing that, and one of the most beautiful memories that I have in bringing my children into the world. Those were just really, really precious moments to me. And when you're a child who is brought up in a maybe highly dysfunctional household, or in a household where mom worked outside of the house, and that's not mom's fault, right? But that nurturing from the main caregiver was transferred to someone else who was less nurturing or less caring. The child is taught that they're not worthy. They get that idea that they're not worthy. They take the absence or the lack of the nurturing and the loving that it's essential. We know that infants will die if they don't receive love. It's absolutely essential to life. So this child grows up getting probably more of a minimum, or not getting what they actually need. Their needs are not being met in that way. So they make it mean that, oh, I am not worthy. And that is where that wound is born. And it's born at a very, very early age. For me, probably born in the womb, because we know that in the womb, we receive lots of input. We know what's going on the outside of that womb. We hear the discussions, arguments, right? And we get the download of the hormones from the mom who's going through, and I imagine my teenage mom was going through a lot of stress carrying me to term, when knowing that her parents, were forcing her to give me up for adoption. And what does this look like? As babies, we are completely dependent on our parents for survival. And like I said, love is absolutely essential for that infant to grow and to mature and to live. If they didn't get the adequate nurturing and the love at a young age, then they start to look for ways to get it, right? We quickly learn that I have to do something to prove that I'm worthy of mom or dad's love. Right? So I learned very quickly that love is conditional. So I am going to do things that are going to either negatively or positively get that attention, right? Because there's a lot of negative attention getting behavior that goes on in young children. We know that, we see it all the time. On the positive side for me, it would have been getting the best grades that I could get, being really competitive in school, just proving I'm worthy. Being the best in my dance class, doing whatever it took, being the perfect child, so that my mom could go out and brag about me to her friends. So I got the I got the message from an early age that love is conditional. I had to do something in order to receive it. Then add on top of that, the arrival of a younger sibling, right? Now that attention's on that younger brother, younger sister, we know what that's like for that firstborn child or the older child when another child comes into the household. I was quite shocked when my firstborn became a predator for my newborn second child. So just one of those things that we have to be aware of, that there's, a training and assimilation that needs to go on, and a lot of nurturing and a lot more attention needs to be paid to that older child when this, imbalance occurs for them. Because for the parents, it's the arrival of another bundle of joy and more love in the household. But for that child who was already there, all of a sudden, their world has just crumbled. Add on top of that religion, my religious programming as a Catholic, and all the messages that I got from that. It was built into, I remember being terrified going into First Communion. I was 6 years old, stepping into the church, being told that I was a sinner, that I was not worthy to receive the body of Christ. I was shaking. With fear and unworthiness. It's built into the prayer. Right before you receive the host, you say, I am not worthy to receive. Breathe. This is the most common, so I'm most likely hitting some buttons here for you as well. Let that settle. How does this often express itself? It expresses itself in someone being a martyr. Do you know someone who is the martyr of the family, right? Maybe always complaining about everything outside, everything going on around them. I was that. I did that. I was a martyr. I was going down with the ship, scurrying around, trying to fix everything, and yeah, this, and that person, and going down with the ship. Or maybe they are the saint. Do you know someone who walks around at their Saint Linda, Saint Luca, Saint Teresa, right? They can do no wrong. They're always perfect. Getting attention for their perfection, and probably really being very out there in people's faces, telling everybody how great that they, all those great things that they've done. I'm not saying how great they are, but the great things that they've done, because they can't accept that they're great. Or maybe a drama queen. Somebody who's a drama queen. Right? Or they're testers. These people are testers of their worth. They're out there creating unconscious. They're creating different situations and scenarios, relationships, where they're testing how worthy they are of that person that they're with. The general feeling that a person who's walking around this planet with a I'm not worthy wound is that of sadness. They're just sad all the time, deep sadness. But they can't show it. They have to hide that, because can't let anyone know that they have this wound inside of them. Got to cover that up. So what these people are searching for is love. They're looking for love on the outside. They're looking out there and focused on that other that they need the love from, the parent, the lover, the child, the whomever, the sister, the sibling. What they're really wanting is love on the inside. They're wanting to feel that on the inside, but they don't know how to do that. They're looking for it on the outside because they think that by getting it on the outside, then they're going to feel it on the inside. What are the consequences of that? They're looking for harmony and often not finding it. They're looking to belong. They're looking for acceptance, to be approved by someone out there. Just love me for who I am. So if someone is looking for love somewhere out there, what's really happening. What's really happening? And what are some of the consequences of that? They're seeking love, they're seeking approval and harmony, they're seeking to belong. And the unconscious mind is all the time behind the scenes. They don't even know it, sabotaging their relationships, their businesses, their careers, their studies, their degrees. It's doing that to prove that they're not worthy. Because if they're worthy, they cease to exist. Their identity is not worthy. They formed at childhood, thinks that it has to die. And that ain't going to happen. So if this person is compensating and looking for love out there, they're looking, we have a phrase, right? They're looking for love in all the wrong places. And we see it all the time. What are the results or the consequences of looking for love in all the wrong places? Looking for it out there, chasing after it out there, not in here, where it is. This is where it resides. This is where it starts. Yeah, some of those consequences can be serious. Sometimes they can be life-threatening. Sometimes they can actually be lethal. They open themselves up for abusers to come in, for highly narcissistic people to come into their lives, controllers, toxic people. They end up feeling alone and lonely because they never get the love. They can't allow the love in. They're always testing the boundaries with people, right? It's like stretching those boundaries. We've seen this in the movies, right? Someone's loving someone and they're not accepting it. And they keep on doing things to test how far they can go. These people set up really high standards for themselves and for others around them too, to prove their unworthiness. Too high standards can't be met. Unconscious mind says, see, I told you, you're not worthy. Or they leave relationships and situations like business partnerships before they actually just get discovered that they're not worthy. They're hypersensitive to criticism. So what happens when they're hypersensitive to criticism? There's probably a lot of conflict. And there's probably a lot of conflict because if they're hypersensitive to criticism, they're bringing in people who are hypercritical, who are criticizing them all the time. They put massive amounts of energy into being what other people need or want them to be. So if you're busy being something that you're not, then what are you? You're inauthentic. You're not in your authenticity because you're busy trying to fit a mold that you don't fit into. People with this wound of I'm not worthy are the epitome of people pleasers. Know anybody like that? Can't say no ever. Saying no to someone is crushing to them because it really points out they're not worthy. They can't handle the negativity that would come from someone if they said no to them. They're always saying yes, even though they don't want to. Know anybody like this? Maybe intimately? They can't say no. They always say yes. All the while inside, they're seething with anger and resentment that their mouth just said yes. Their body and everything inside of them is saying, no, 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 I can't put anything else on my plate. I'm overwhelmed already as it is. I can't do anymore. And now they've got more on their plate. Ultimately, people with this wound are desperate to love and to be loved. But they can never receive it. Because to allow that in, to allow the love in, is death to the identity. that is chasing after a cure for this wound of not worthy, only to reinforce, I am not worthy. Breathe out, take a breath in. If this sounds like you very well have this number one wound, which is I'm not worthy. And now that you're aware of it, you can catch what's happening around you, what's happening inside of you. You can see where maybe certain individuals, you've created situations, you've created relationships that peck continually at that wound. Unconscious mind is saying, not worthy, not worthy. Accepting compliments, great example. How are we trained in this society anyway? We women in particular. Oh, you look great today. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I didn't sleep well. Yeah, no. We're always deflecting the compliments that come to us. Can't accept them because it means that we're worthy. Love, coming around. We want it. Can't accept it because we're not worthy. And doing everything to deflect it. So if you would like to learn more about this, contact me, private message me. I'm here. I specialize in bringing people out of this pain. It's such a great thing to be free of this wound and to be living a life that you love, because this wound right here will sabotage your life. It could very well be the thing that holds you back from your greatness. You were born to live your greatness and to live a life that you love, to be happy, to be loved, to love and be loving. This wound from a very, very long time ago got stuck in your programming, and it's running the show. So again, if you'd like some help with this, contact me and we'll get you out of this. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.